Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in my seat today I have the beautiful Jada, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background, what you've done, and then we can get chatting about it.
Sure. Hi everybody. So where do I even begin? I spent a decade long in the fashion industry. I was one of the first plus size models in the UK.
Unreal.
When the kind of pandemic hit and a lot of things happened for loads of people, I pivoted my career and took a step back from the fashion industry, ended up becoming pregnant with twins. In the thick of the first early years of motherhood, I decided to launch a podcast because I didn't understand how I'd ever get my career back when I was like in the early depths of that first year. I was like, am I ever going to be able to like go back to being the model? I was a content creator at the time, doing a lot of campaign and advocacy work around body positivity and diversity. So it was quite a rich decade of my life. And then, it led me on to doing a podcast. And a year later, I started to develop an app, which is currently in the very early stages.
Amazing.
And building that. So moving more into business now. But yeah.
That's incredible. And what is your podcast called?
It's called CEO Mum, where we talk to CEOs, founders, celebrities, change makers, influencers about how they still have a career and are also mums, and how they sort of balance both of those two worlds.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if you are watching and you do feel as though like maybe you've lost yourself a little bit, definitely I'll put the link for the podcast, because it can really encourage you to just show you that everyone has the same emotions and feelings, but you just need sometimes a little bit of that push and that encouragement to just take the step. Speaking of makeup, so you became a mum of two twins, which is like incredible. So when you found out you was having twins, what was your initial reaction?
Oh gosh. I remember when the babies, we went for an early scan at 6 weeks, and you're really excited. It's the first time that you hope to hopefully get some good news and confirm your pregnancy. And I remember in the scan they were just like, okay, here's the baby, and then they kind of like the scan sort of moved, and then there was another sack, and it was just like the biggest shock of our lives.
Wow.
But it was just such a miracle, and we're so blessed.
It is such a blessing. And your babies are now how old?
They're 22 months, so they're coming up to 2 years old soon.
Amazing.
And it's like the years flown by.
Yeah, and do you find it's like easier now?
As they all say, it gets easier, but in different ways.
Yeah.
The challenges are still there.
Yeah, amazing. So in terms of like getting ready and feeling yourself, how has motherhood like affected that at all?
Definitely. Like when you become a mum, your time to get ready is so limited.
Yeah.
And your priorities are always changing, because you're like balancing getting a toddler ready, getting yourself ready, trying to maybe juggle work. And so now I've literally got maybe 5 minutes if I'm lucky.
Today I'm thinking that we'll do something very sun-kissed. You said that you like to almost look like a bit more bronze tanned. I'm going to be seeing through my eyes how I would bring your face like and all your features together, and it might also open your eyes to be like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So I just want to give you some ideas and stuff like that. What I'm going to do today will be achievable for anyone, whether you're a mum or you're working 24/7, whatever it may be. We'll try and do something that you can learn. We'll get stuck in. Tell me about your skin.
So I tend to have combination skin.
Okay.
Quite dry in the winter times.
Yeah.
So any hydration, it's like, give it to me.
Good for you, yeah? Okay, and I think that's really normal, especially in the winter now, because my skin is gasping. So what I'm going to start off first with, because Jada just said you do like a bit of hydration on your skin, so we'll spritz a bit of the Charlotte Tilbury. It just feels nice and fresh.
It also smells good.
It smells good, and it will also work great as a primer. It's really good like to apply before makeup for the hydration, but also for the staying power.
Okay. I always used to think that setting sprays go on after your makeup.
No, so there's some that, like, for example, the Huda Beauty one, I mean, if you've got really oily skin, this will be great to start with, because it's got a really strong hold. This is one of the newest setting sprays that has come out, but for me, those ones that are more like hairspray, I would definitely say keep them for after.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the stickiness, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury you can feel, it just feels like a moisturizer once it goes onto your skin. And I feel like it melts everything together after, but not so much like holds it where it feels tight.
Okay.
Primer, I'm going in with the Burberry. Now, I love this. As you can see, it's nearly finished. When I started using this on some of my clients, I just fell in love with it. It's probably one of the most beautiful, glowy primers I have used. That light looks really nice. Guys, we are multitasking here. We are doing a little Instagram reel as well, using all the gadgets. Your skin feels amazing.
You know what? I'm using this really nice new Lancome product. It's like the Lancome serum and the Lancome cream that they've just launched. Like, it's called Regenerate or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's got retinol in it. And
wow.
I don't really use retinol, so it's had an effect on my skin.
Honestly, like, it feels very like plump and bouncy. And
I think it's this product.
Oh my.
Because I've been feeling really, I don't know if it's age or if it's the lack of sleep when you become a mum, but my skin just feels so dull and tired, and I feel like I've aged 10 years in 1 year. Oh, definitely.
It's a feeling, it's not reality.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
False evidence appearing real.
I'll take it.
Foundation, I'm going to go in with the Hourglass, and this is the Soft Glow Foundation. It is such a stunning base. It is going to be warmer than Jada's skin tone, but we have already spoken and you do want to look slightly warmer, and we just want to bring a nice bronzed look to the skin. So
we have confirmed this.
Yes.
Make me darker, it's not accidental. You've not done a bad colour match.
Yeah. I'm like,
I said make me tanned, I need it. Yeah.
As long as we don't go orange. Because what's nice about the Hourglass foundation is as well, like, especially this colour, I will tell you which colour I'm using. So this is the shade 6.5. I love that, like, they have that kind of, you know me, I love a sandy undertone. So it has that kind of sandier undertone.
Is that like a yellowy?
Yeah. But, you know, not even like too yellow. Still the right amount of warmth.
Yeah, because I think because we don't get loads of sun, obviously I'm grateful that we can see the like first bit of spring coming through, but you just want a bit of warmth in your skin. That's why I always use like a spray tanning mist in the winter, just to give me a little bit of warmth. Otherwise I feel like my skin looks really dull and grey.
I feel exactly the same. We're really vitamin D deficient here.
Yeah. I never understand, and please, if you do this in the comments, just tell me why that happens. But like when people are outside in the winter having like a beer, I think maybe it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because I'm like Mediterranean background. In my blood, I'm like, I can't get with that.
No,
like,
same.
It's not.
It's cold.
It's cold. I hate cold.
And I also hate beer.
Maybe if it was enticing in a different way.
Yeah, or that there was a little outdoor heater with like a blanket.
Yeah. Because I'm into alfresco living, like tapas outside, food outside.
Yeah. This is actually a really nice shade on you. I'm going to bring it down to your neck and chest area slightly, but it looks really pretty. It's just the right amount of warmth without you looking orange.
And tell me what brush you're using to apply this, because I'm really bad at knowing what brushes to do what with.
So this is actually my own brush that I brought out. I have a brush set, and this is I have little names on them, and this is called the base.
Okay, so we just read it and it will tell you what to do. That's
literally
so cool.
Yeah. So I tried to make it like as simple as possible from like a makeup artist perspective.
Yeah. When did you bring out your brush range?
I brought these out I think like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've had such amazing feedback, like so many people as well, like on, because I do put the link up on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
And people have purchased them and said it's made their getting ready so much easier.
Yeah.
Because I've just like kind of done it in a 10-step way. So it's 10 brushes. They all have the names on them. I've made one for like sculpting your cheekbones, your blusher, nose contour, because nose contour is such a big thing now. And just like really easy, a baker so people can bake with powder.
Okay, and it's all got its names on, so then it makes it, if you're kind of like new to it like I am, or a bit of an amateur,
that's it.
You just look at the brush with the name.
Yeah.
And how did you find that process of like sourcing, sorry this is a bit of a tangent, but it's what I'm really interested in, is like how women build businesses.
Yeah.
So how did you go and find like the sourcing and the factory and the product? Like, was it really easy for you? Did you know people that did it?
No, it wasn't easy. So I had a guy working with me who's amazing at like doing all like the middle work.
Yeah.
And because initially we'd made lip liners and a lip gloss, and it was like my staple like lip, and it was called the Pretty Touch combo, and it literally, like, I'm not kidding you, they were the best lip liners, like, but we sourced them. We didn't want to take shortcuts, so we literally went to the factories in Germany and Italy for creating the lip liners, which were known as the best places to do your lip liners. don't get me wrong, the sampling was hard, the back and forths were hard, the finding the colours was really hard.
The money, was it a lot of money?
Extortionate.
Really?
Oh my god, like especially for those factories.
Okay.
Because
the quality was a lot higher.
The quality was so high, and you have to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
And you don't.
So what was your minimum quantity?
5,000.
Wow.
So it was a lot.
And you invested in 5,000.
Yeah.
Were you confident that you would have? Was it because you were confident you could sell that, or was it? Because...
I was, but I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. Like, basically, like, I think to create a business, you do need to have either a marketing strategist, like somebody needs to be there to market and to know all the ins and outs of that, and then that is another cost, which is crazy. So I was trying to market it all by myself, and it was tough. It was really, really tough. And, you know, I started to feel like my passion for actually making makeup wasn't the same as applying makeup.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, I love like working with brands. I love like trying new products. I love applying makeup on people, but I don't know if I love making it.
Yeah.
And
it's a whole other ball game. It's like going into business and product development, interviewing so many women about their businesses, like working mums and stuff. It's interesting to know what is your end goal and kind of having that in mind. Like, do you want to build a lifestyle company? Do you want to build a company that's going to IPO? Do you want to build something maybe in the middle, and like knowing what that takes to not be too, like, I think naivety is really important to like not know everything. I kind of like built my whole career not knowing everything and being like really like, just keep going. Yeah. But trying to do a little bit of preparation, I think, helps.
It does. But like, you have to have the hunger and the passion to go all the way, especially with building a brand, guys. If any of you are thinking about it, do it, start it. I always think like, you're better off trying than not trying at all. And if you don't love it, that's all right. I'm not going to force it. Like, I'm not going to force it. I'd rather love what I'm doing. I love doing makeup, and I'm so grateful that I get to do that as my job anyway. So anything else is a plus.
There's like a saying that I'm going to butcher really badly, but it's like, if you don't go for the take the opportunity or take the risk or make that decision, then it's a constant fail. Like, it's going to be a no. The answer is going to be you failed. It's a no. Exactly. It didn't happen. So like, just go for it. Otherwise,
you never know.
Yeah,
that's it. And guys, there's no such thing as failure. There's just only learning. That's how I look at things. So you started as one of the first plus size models.
Yeah, one of the first in the UK. We were like, I think there was a small cohort of us of maybe like 5, and the rest were in America.
Wow.
And I remember Ashley Graham, I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah,
but
of course. You actually look like her.
You kind of look like her too, a little bit.
Oh, well, we look like each other.
Because she looks like a bit of an Eva Mendes,
which
you kind of do as well. Yeah, well, she's stunning, so I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
And I remember she was kind of coming up, but there was a few before her, and I remember being like, because I was doing a master's before that in child psychotherapy, and was working with a lot of young people that had eating disorders and body dysmorphia, and it was just when Instagram had just launched, and I was just coming out of uni and was like, you know, why don't I put up some pictures and show people that they can like look beautiful no matter what they look like, and would convince these photographers that were also like starting out if they would shoot me, even though I didn't look like a typical model, and kind of it caught fire on my Instagram, and that's sort of how I then got scouted. I became the face of the first ever plus size show during London Fashion Week. Wow. Went on to work for some brands. I mean, so many like bucket list goals, like being the first size 16 model on ASOS was like a big one, because I loved ASOS.
That is amazing.
But
I wish I had that sound effect.
Yeah.
Where you can, because that's just unreal. On ASOS, that's so amazing.
It was like surreal. And this is what I mean, like, dream big and don't take no for an answer, and just go for it. Especially, one of my things was like, if you don't see it, you don't know you can be it. And I was like, I want other women to feel good and feel like they are beautiful. So that was like, I'd say chapter 1 of my career in my 20s.
Wow, and you've probably made so many women feel like so much more accepted, accepting of themselves now because of that.
I really hope so. And I feel like in that wave of maybe like a decade ago, in plus size anyway, the brands started to be more inclusive, and the media started to be more inclusive, and we celebrated people of all like skin types and body types and everything. And I just really hope we're not going in the other direction now, and just continue to like embrace people. I mean, you can start something else whilst I go on and on, because I talk about this for ages, because I love this topic.
Before Jada continues, I'm just gonna tell you what I'm using now. I'm going in with the Kosas, and these are the new under our neutralizers. So they're basically correctors for any dark circles. We're just going to neutralize a bit of darkness just around Jada's under eye here. And then we're going to go in with brightening revealer concealer. So this will just add that nice brightness. And again, it's more of like a sandy undertone. So it will just really work and be cohesive with the foundation. As you can see, it's a bit of a peachy. The neutralize is very peachy, which is nice. And I'm just going to get a flat brush. And we'll just go, we'll focus more on the inner corners because I don't want to add loads of product. So, and then just a bit on the outer corners, leaving the middle area empty. So then when we blend it, it will just spread out nice and evenly and there won't be too much product. And we'll just do the same on the other side. Lovely. And even this by itself, like you can tell will be a nice concealer, but it's just a tiny bit on the pinky peach side.
Okay.
And we can just go around the nose area if there's any redness. Perfect.
And then, yeah, I guess that decade of my modelling career, I sort of took my audience on the journey with me of like all these sort of bucket list goals and then moving to America and working in the States and living in New York and then moving to Australia and working over there and sort of becoming like living out this crazy wild dream of being an international model and loving it and hitting all these milestones and built up a following, I guess, because Instagram at the time was all about building communities rather than being a media platform like it seems to be today where you're churning out loads of media. It was more communicating with people and I loved it. Towards the end, I kind of was falling out of love for fashion and being on the road all the time and decided to move back to London, and that's where I met my partner, and that's when we moved in and had
family lifestyle.
You put your roots down.
That's it.
It was like a massive shock to the system, I guess, after being this like kind of nomad for a decade to then being like back home settled. And a mum, and you're like, whoa,
wow, because it's beautiful. Such a shift, isn't it? And did you miss the modelling?
So I think at that point I was kind of, you know, when you're in a job for so long and you know that you're real good at it, like I knew my craft, I knew the industry, and you know when you kind of know it's time to move on but you don't really know what you're going to do next.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know if like anyone can relate to this like feeling of you're not quite where you want to be but you're not quite who you was before.
100%.
Like it's, you're kind of in the middle of that growing. People have, when I've read up on this, it's like the messy middle, the kind of transition, and I think that was when I just took a bit of a break and was like, you know what, in order to figure out what's next you really have to give yourself space to do that. And I was like, right, stop.
It's true. And actually being okay with slowing down,
which is hard.
Yes, that's the hard thing. The pace. It's the pace that changes that can really like unsettle people.
Your lifestyle and like not having anything to like wake up and do that you would normally do. Like you're having to like explore, and it's obviously such a privilege to be able to be like creating space in your life. I had the twins and there was like, they were very full on as newborns are and babies are. But there was still a little bit of space for like that itch of career, of doing something new.
And you are, like, it's amazing what you're doing. You've created a whole nother business. And you're also creating, like, an app.
Yeah, it's so from the podcast, which has been running for, like, all self-produced. I didn't want to partner with anyone or anything. I wanted to figure out how to do it all alone. Because I'd done loads of work with brands and within big companies, but I'd never, like, done my own thing that I fully owned the IP, owned all the creative choices, and I wanted that. I created the podcast, which takes a lot of time and effort, and when I was interviewing all these women, the kind of key thing kept coming up. It's like we've moved as a generation, like where women are equal in some ways, like we still have careers and we want to still financially contribute, and cost of living's going up, so more women have to go back to work. So we're kind of like equal in the sense of like we still have maybe similar responsibilities, but we also are very unequal because we have to, like, we give birth to a child, we are pregnant, and like obviously that's biological, that's not a bad thing, it's what we do, but it's and then you go back to the workplace and like there's systems, and I think we're learning now about terms like domestic labour, the invisible load, like all the things that, the mental load, all the things that mums have to remember.
Yeah.
But yet women are also going to the workplace as much as like in the same hours that men are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because realistically now, in a normal life with a normal salary, men and women do have to work.
Yeah.
You can't get away with just a man working anymore in a country like this. You can't. Like, and so yeah, that pressure, the financial pressure it puts on people is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's hard. And the thing is that mums are still doing the thing that they did before. What I have to do often, and I'm like, I talk about it with my partner, we laugh about it and we do it together, but it's like, the kids' clothes they're growing out of their clothes. We have to like reassess their wardrobe so often in their first like early years. And just like those, and all the different like things you have to buy. Like women are doing all the kind of purchasing decisions, and
it's the same pressures as before, but just in a totally different way now.
Yeah.
When you was modelling, did you ever feel like they were like putting pressure on you, like about like looks and stuff like that?
Well, I think because my background is like I said, I was doing a degree and I finished my master's. It was a master's in child psychotherapy. So I kind of came into the modelling industry in my like early 20s. So I was a bit less influential than like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And because my passion is like empowering people and like helping people work through whatever it is they're going through in some capacity, and you know, in that sense it was like with their bodies and body image.
Yeah.
So I was like really attuned to knowing that like, no, this is my body, and if they want to book me. If they don't, then there's loads of other people.
That's so true.
So but that's not to say that there weren't like subconscious pressures, because I think in the fashion industry as well, and with like a modelling agent, they just want to get the job. So if there's a wave of brands that are now only casting size 12 models, and that's kind of the in thing, then they would probably suggest, you know, being smaller might help you get the job.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, you know what, I'd rather just have my integrity, know that I've been like a size 16 all my life. Like I've been always like curvy, this 5'9", size 16. So I was like, you know what, when the jobs come in for my size, then like I'm happy to go forward, because if I just jump for every trend, then I'm going to constantly be like yo-yoing and
100%.
then like lose myself.
Yes. In a sense, you was actually like protecting yourself.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it at the time, but in a sense, I guess in the long run it paid off.
Yeah, because, you know, having those boundaries from such a young age is quite rare.
Yeah, you don't think of it like that. And there's definitely times where it's not as easy to just be like, no, I know myself. I am being like, oh, maybe I should, because I'm making no money. But when times like that, I just kind of did loads of like temp job. I was like a cat sitter, a babysitter, worked in a juice bar. I would like just hustle.
You're like a problem solver.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never thought of it like that, but
yeah, like you've got like, you look for the solution. And that's a really amazing thing to have.
I've never thought about it like that, but
your natural instinct is, well, I'm gonna find a way.
Yeah, I definitely am like, well, let's do something about it. Like, let's fix it. This system can't be right. Like, what can we do differently? Because like, otherwise you're just accepting what someone else, like I always say, like beauty is so different depending on where you live in the world. So true. So like you go to Africa and curvy people are like worshipped, and if you're skinny it looks like poverty, like you can't afford food. So but yet in the Western world it's like the complete opposite, like skinny is deemed as like superior. So you're but actually like everyone is beautiful, like it just shouldn't be so prescriptive.
100,000,000%. But what I have just done there is, guys, sorry, because we was in a deep one, so I've just used the Dollbeauty, and this is Gimme Sun Cream Bronzer, which is stunning. I've just framed Jada's face with it, so we've done around the perimeters, on the cheekbones, and just down the center of the nose. It looks very, very warm in the palette, but it's actually quite a sheer product, so it does blend out and melt into the skin really nicely. Very buttery. And now we're going to go in, before we go in with blush, I'm actually going to go in with highlight first, because I'm using quite a deeper highlight today because I do want to really bring that sun-kissed look to the skin. So we're using the Armani, and this is the Luminous Silk Aqua Highlighter. Where we haven't set anywhere with powder, it's a perfect time to use a product like this. Picking up a domed, smaller brush, placing the product on the tip. I'm now just gonna go, if you just smile for me, that's it, get those nice apples of the cheeks and pop the highlighter just right on those apples so it will give a really nice natural illumination. It almost looks like a bit of a bronzer in itself but with a glow, so it's really pretty.
I love Giorgio Armani products for being really like easy to work with.
They
as well.
are.
For someone that like, I don't know how to do like I don't know the rules of makeup. Like,
no, they are easy.
You know, I feel like Giorgio Armani is just so blendable.
It's really blendable, and they also have just like, I think a product range that is easy for everyone to use. They keep it very classic, and they're not bringing out and rolling out new products all the time. They've got their staples, and I think that's really key within a brand as well, because obviously, yes, you can bring out different blusher colours, but actually what they have there stands a test of time. Like they don't
so
need
it's worth
to keep
investing your money in, you know it's going to be good.
Definitely, like I know the products that were so popular 10 years ago are still so popular now. That's how you know that like a range is amazing. This is the Sophia Richie blush that she used on her wedding, where everyone went crazy because she actually had like no makeup on, and she just had a really beautiful flush of like orange blush across her face, and her skin just was beaming. And her makeup artist revealed that it was actually this shade, which is called Picante by Nudestix. So stunning, but against your skin tone this is going to look phenomenal. I'm actually just going to go in with the same brush that I've used to highlight, and we're just going to dab dab dab. And this way you can be in control of how much product you are putting on the face, which is very important, because obviously you don't want to just go and swipe it on the cheek, a colour like this, as it's very bold.
I've never used orange brush, I don't think.
Oh my god, it is
really
the best. I think for your skin tone, oranges and peaches really look pretty on you.
Thank you. It's good to know that, because when you're trying out all this stuff, you're like, I don't know, is this good? Is that
No,
good?
and also the trends are just so crazy at the moment. I feel like makeup should feel like it melts into your skin, and if it's so obvious, maybe it's not your colour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just setting now, guys, with the stunning Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Setting Powder.
Is it your usual one that would you use that all?
I love this,
Yeah.
This is so good for like, usually I bake people as well, but because I want you to look more like softer versus like matte. I'm not going to bake you, but say like I'm doing someone's wedding, I will definitely add a bit of extra bake, and
so that it like stays.
And it just has that real like longevity. It's always good between stages to add a bit more hydration into the skin, especially if, say, you've got a client, you're a makeup artist watching me now, or you yourself does have a bit more of a drier skin due to like weather and whatever it may be. Give yourself extra hydration through the steps. So I'm just going to spritz Jada now, and before I finish with powders, we're going to let this melt into the skin, and we're going to move on to the brows and the eyes now. Jada, you said you like your eyebrows quite big.
I do, like I love your ones.
Really?
Yeah, they're so full.
Oh, thank you.
I think they look, I'm like a thick brow girly.
Really? Okay, that's good to know, because also like we're actually not going to be doing like loads to Jada's eyes. You'll see as we go along, but I wanted to focus this more on like skin, brows and lips. Just those like key features, because those features on Jada especially are so beautiful, and it's nice to just enhance. You've got great brows. They're very they listen.
Oh, they're
cooperative.
They behave.
Yeah, they're cooperative. I'm pushing up and they're going.
Oh, that's good.
Do you get lamination or anything like that?
I've had it once, but I found that I don't know if this was where I went, or if it's what happens, but it just like fried my brows.
Oh yeah,
Does it do that?
it can do, yeah, because basically it's like perm.
Yeah, so it made my brows kind of go curly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it got left on too long, or
Yeah, probably. I've actually had that with my LVL before, where like
on your lashes.
yeah, where it's the same product basically that they use. And I think if it's now I get them to just leave my LVL solution on. Say it's meant to be on for 15 minutes, I leave it for 13.
Yeah.
Just a little bit less.
Yeah. Now I kind of haven't had my brows done for ages. I used to be really into like getting them done religiously, and
yeah,
I've had, when I lived in Australia, got the kind of tattooing, which a semi-permanent tattooing.
Yeah,
you can kind of still see it underneath my brows, but now I'm all about just like, I guess maybe when you have no time, you're like, what's like a high maintenance, low maintenance thing I can do? So I just tint my brows at home with a at-home pack.
Love that.
Let them grow out and just like pluck them into shape.
Yeah,
just like little things.
Actually, like you have got really good brows. As soon as I've just lifted those a little bit, you can see that the thickness and fullness has come in straight away. I'm gonna go in really lightly, just where I feel like they might need a bit more filling, just a bit of fullness. And I am using a powder because again, I feel like it just looks way more natural than going on with anything too harsh, like a pencil. And we're not going for like crazy definition either, because we want that kind of more natural brow.
What did you use on the brows?
So this is the gel, and then powder wise.
So you do a gel first?
Yeah.
Huh.
I know.
Doesn't
you know
the gel
why?
make the powder stick?
No. So do one brow first, let that set, then do the other brow. Then when you go back with the powder, it will settle it, like it will be easy, because the reason why I do gel first is if I go with gel after on the powder, I feel like it moves it. Whereas I can pick where I want to put the powder.
And then what powder are you using?
This is actually the Browsing's Benefit palette. It's got amazing colours.
I used to love that one, and I forgot how much I loved it.
Do you know how amazing? Because they're all ashy. There's no red in them at all, which I think is perfect. They still do the duo palettes.
Okay.
That are similar to that. So I'm just neutralising Jada's brow bone now with just a tiny bit of product which was left on the back of my hand with the concealer. I'm not going to go light and highlight. I'm literally just going to give a little bit of coverage to that area. We're now going to go in with the Armani, and these are the eye tints. They're the liquid eye tints. They're amazing. You've got to do one eye at a time, because when they set, they set. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you put it on the eye and then you basically leave it there, it's not budging.
Yeah.
But I love them. So we're going for a very like cool toned brown. It's almost like a bit deeper than a taupe. The way that I'm going to apply this is I'm actually going to apply it with a brown brush, because as soon as I hit the lid, I want to start blending that out straight away rather than a flat brush. And as you can see, I haven't even used a base on Jada's eyes, because I don't need to neutralize anything here, because what we're going in with is darker anyway, and it will have hold, so you don't need a base to keep this in place. And what we want to do is we want to go slightly higher than the natural crease in the eye, because if you just stay at the crease, then you will make Jada's eyes look deep set, whereas if you give a natural blend above that crease and smoke it out slightly, it will open the eyes up and give a very soft, smoky look. And look how quick we did that, literally 2 seconds, and it just looks
I love this product.
perfect. It's so nice. Do you use this color as well?
Yeah. But again, I'm such an amateur, and you've just taught me, because I would apply it with the stick that comes in the product, and I just put it on.
Yeah.
And then I would brush it out with that, but I think putting it on your hand first
And
makes
blending.
a bit of difference. Yeah.
It's more forgiving.
Mm.
I'm just repeating on the other side, guys. So, such a nice color. I do love like those ashier browns.
Me too.
Are you more of like a cool tone brown?
Yeah. Because I feel like it leans into my love for the 90s.
Yeah, 100%.
With like a cool tone lip, cool tone brow.
Yeah. As you can see, that was very, very quick and minimal product, but yet you get such an effective look. Now I'm going to go in with Lines Liberated, the pencil by YSL. Again, one eye at a time because it is waterproof. So once you apply it, if you don't use it quickly, it will set and it won't be budging. But this colour, now I know we were talking about loving cool tones, but this does have a slight warmth to it, but it really is so beautiful. It's got that like pretty effect to it, so when you put it on the eyes, it does something pretty. It's just really nice. I'm gonna just go very close to Jada's lash line, almost in the lash line, in the lashes.
Did you blend it out? Will you be blending it out?
Yeah,
because I've used this before and not blended it.
Oh yeah, so what I like to do is, just so there's no like edges, I then just soften that line out so it looks really soft. And also it makes the lash line appear darker, but you can't really see why.
Yeah,
like if you have a look in your camera and you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Do you see where it just...
Usually what I would do is go in with like a eyeliner underneath to just make, because my lashes are like quite fine. I've got quite fine hair.
Yeah.
But I've got dark features, so I'd want them to pop.
Yeah.
I don't have enough lash to do that.
But that's why that is so perfect, because looking at the difference
Makes
now,
it thicker.
Yeah, your eye, that eye looks more like defined.
So how long have you been doing makeup for?
16 years.
Wow. And so what was it that, like, what's been your journey in there? Like, did you go to school? Did you just go straight freelancing?
No, so I actually studied for a year in a college.
Yeah.
When I was 19, and I didn't know like whether like I was even going to be good at it. I always loved makeup, but it's different doing it. I left college, and then all I wanted to do was get a job at MAC, because at the time it was just the brand to work for. It was so hard to get a job with them. You have to wait 6 months once you've applied to apply again, but I was not having it. I was walking into those MAC stores and I was like, here's my CV, will you give me an interview? And some would say no, some would say yes, but eventually I got the job and I was with them 3 days a week. They throw you on that shop floor like you've been working there for 2 years. And they're like, okay, welcome to MAC, there you go. And it's like you've got all these people coming at you, and bear in mind, no one knows that you've been there for 5 minutes. They believe that you are an expert. They're like, can I have Studio Fix NC45? I'm like, what is Studio Fix? What is NC? What is 45? Like, I had no clue. And you have to fake it till you make it to a certain extent. So that's what I was doing when I was working there. And I was there 3 days a week for 6 years until I went to 2 days. And during that time, within my first year, my freelance just like kicked off. And I was so busy. I barely could even fit MAC in and work anymore, which was amazing. And this was a word of mouth.
Wow.
That's how powerful word of mouth used to be. We're going to go in with some mascara now, and we're going to use the Burberry Beyond Volume. I haven't actually tried this yet, but I'm obsessed with the packaging. Is that not unbelievable? Like,
I just love a good packaging.
And me.
I'm a sucker for the brand.
It changes the game. This is the wand, if you can see, so it looks quite nice. But we're just going to, if you look down for me, we're just going to wiggle at your root. And we are going to be putting some lashes on. We just want to coat all the lashes and make them look nice and dark. But for bronzer, I'm actually going to go in with this palette here. It was a limited edition, I think. So it's the Nars, and this is called Casino. But they definitely still have these bronzers. As you can see, it's quite deep. So I'm going to tap. You don't want to just put it on and go straight onto the face, because you will get patchy. But we just want to really like work it into the forehead, making sure that we're blending at the same time. And always start with less, because building is easier.
When I was speaking to loads of women about how they run a business and do motherhood, they're all just like, I need more help. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And we all need like a personal assistant. So yeah, I was like, okay, so how can I make a personal assistant for everyone? Because we all need it. Yeah. Even if you're not a mum, I felt like I needed a personal assistant when I was working. But so yeah, I just started the process of building out a personal assistant. So if there's any mums that working mums that feel like they need a personal assistant and would love to like know more or join the kind of research group that I'm in, please drop me an email, because I'd love to hear from you and find out like your experience. So I'll just plug that, because I'm like all about talking to more working mums at the moment and finding out like how they how a personal assistant could basically help them.
Blusher of choice, this is Tom Ford, and this is in the shade Cherry Glaze. So we're keeping in line with the peachy tones. Very pigmented.
Yeah, I really like this one.
It's nice, isn't it?
Cute.
That is a really nice colour. Oh, I love that.
So you were saying you went to college. I feel like I'm now interviewing you. So you went to college.
I love it.
It's
in your nature. Yeah.
I'm such a curious person. I love hearing people's journeys.
I love it.
That's I guess why I love working, like hearing all these women that are in business. But so you went to college, and from college you went to Mac, which was at the time the place to get your makeup done, to feel really connected to like your craft. And I remember when I would step into Mac, everyone was just so glamorous and had their own unique sense of expression with makeup. So is that kind of the place to be?
It was.
How long were you there for until you went freelance?
So I started doing freelance while I was in Mac, and I started doing it within the first year, because people would come in, and a lot of brides would come in, and you know, they'd want to try makeup, and then you'd apply it for them, and they'd be like, oh, are you free for my wedding makeup? And it kind of like happened like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I started copying. So when Instagram did finally launch, I started copying more of the LA makeup artists, the way that they were promoting their work, because I felt like they were always ahead of us in terms of like, they always got the lighting right. There was something that they were doing that was just different. To be fair, like it just worked. It really worked by God's grace. It was just amazing. And work was absolutely like booming.
So when did you eventually take the leap and go fully freelance?
Well, after like 6 years of being there, I was just like, you know what, like I'm busy enough.
Yeah.
And I've loved working at Mac. I've learned so much, but I think that now it was just that time I really felt this like peace. And one day, and it's not like I even thought about it, one day I just sent an email while I was at a training day with Mac, and I was like, oh hi guys, I'm just sending you my notice, and I didn't even think about it before then.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and but I felt really like excited. And look, I was very blessed, because to be able to work, I think for yourself, I was only 26, 27 like at that time. So I think if you can do that at that age, it was a real blessing. And things hadn't kicked off yet. I know everyone almost works for themselves now on social media and those kind of platforms, but 16-hour days, just banging it out from like 5 a.m. till like 9, 10, 11, 12. Like there was not enough hours in the day for me to like work. So, and I love that I had that experience. Guys, also when you are applying mascara, with the top mascara, do that first, let it dry, because if I then went and told Jada, look up for me, all the wet mascara would have just hit here.
Okay. So then you went freelance after 6 years, and that's when you started to think about like products, or did that come later?
That came later, yeah. I was kind of more in just a zone of like having brands notice me. I was so excited to be getting like PR. I was like, oh my God, this is like crazy.
Yeah.
Spending all that money on your kit, and then, you know, brands start sending you the stuff that you love.
I know I talk about being a CEO mum, but not everyone needs to be a CEO mum. And that's what I also think, like, that's what I want the podcast to embody, is like, being a CEO mum might be just like showing up for yourself in your community.
Yes.
It might just be like being, I don't know, just like expressing yourself through loving your body, you know, or like wearing the outfits you want to wear, or
so true.
You know, I think not everyone needs to be a CEO
100%.
or have a business.
Yeah.
In order to feel fulfilled. It's like having your own self-identity, having your own opinions.
It is so true, and I think that this is what's really tough about this world now, is people knowing who they are.
I think it's like we see people do stuff and it looks really easy because you're seeing the kind of like the final product of things, whether it is a business or it is the great polished content, but so much work does go behind the scenes of it. Do you wait for that to dry?
Always. Yeah. Really important, because if I try and stick it on now, it's going to just irritate you, and it's too wet.
Yeah, and it doesn't stick as much. That's what I learned.
When it gets nice and tacky, it just can slot straight on.
And you can like move it around a bit more and stuff.
Exactly. I have actually cut them from either end because I want them to fit Jada's eyes. So I've given them a little snip because they were actually really long. While that's getting tacky. I'm going to add a little bit of glow just along Jada's chest with the Armani, because you know what? It's actually a great way of bronzing you up, but without having to use fake tan. Once this sets, like we said, it does not budge. It's that kind of product, so it won't actually transfer. That looks so nice. And there's a trick that I learned from a makeup artist. I think it might have been Patrick Tar. And he said, put blusher on your chest and it gives you a natural look of being in the sun. So, for example, I'm going to grab a little bit of that. And I'm just going to put it in the middle of Jada's chest there. Look how straight away that's made it look like you've been in the sun a little bit.
Oh yeah!
How nice!
Oh, that looks really nice. What lashes are these?
These are Ardell's and they're a faux ink version. They're quite full at the end, but they look really good on you. And let me just have a look.
Oh wow!
How
She's
pretty.
gorgeous.
Isn't she?
It's just like boom.
You make your eyes just so big.
Yeah.
Lip combo today. We're going to go in with the Dior lip pencil. I love this in 300 Nudestyle, and then the Dior Addict in Festive Coral. Such a stunning colour. So I'm going to line, or I usually ask if my clients, models want to have overdrawn lips, but you've got such beautiful full lips. Gorgeous. I just really love that this is like such a nice nudie coral, but it's got the perfect amount of like sweetness to it, and it's also creamy, which helps. I've never ever been a matte lipstick person.
Need that hydration on my lips.
Yeah, I just think like it suits everyone a bit better. This is the final look. I just think Jada looks stunning. It's so like natural, and you can't really go wrong with a look like this because I think it just enhances your features in the perfect way. Thank you for being my model. You have been absolutely stunning, and for sharing so much wisdom as well.
Try.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh no, thank you. It's been so nice. And I hope that you enjoy this video, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and turn your notifications on. I will pop all of Jada's links as well below so you can check out podcast and her socials. And yeah, sending you loads of love, guys. Mwah.
Bye.